simulator.
The simulator is the
Yeah,
problem.
the tool, actually the tool, the work tool of the salesman has, they think that it is not the product, it's a touch point.
Yeah, yeah, the touch point was the problem. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, fair enough, okay.
Just
So this is a more, this is almost a piece of theatre with the person arriving, you know, on a, what do you call them? Doesn't matter. So they're coming in and they're presenting this thing in a different environment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like, my concern is, do you think what is advantage or disadvantage of this kind of experience goal-driven process? That how normally did you do from a very like the brand to a very specific design features?
I think you'll find in most big design agencies they're very clever, they're very careful about designing the experience of what someone receives and how they receive it. You know, we've got agencies just down the road here in Newcastle, you know, that will be very careful about how they design an experience to sell an idea to a client. So they might invite actors to act out a play or to tell the story of a product being used. So they're not very restricted by normal design methods. They'll say, okay, in order to sell this new experience, this company, the way they should present it, we will bring in a whole theatre company and they will act out a play that we've written just to present that idea.
Okay, so this is kind of a way to present the concept. So it's kind of the format to present an idea.
If it's about the experience of selling something, yeah, they would do that. Absolutely.
So you think this is kind of like scenario-based presentation?
Well, if I understand you correctly, that in your example here, the idea of just showing somebody an idea, the experience of showing somebody a product like the tugboat on a small laptop doesn't feel authentic or doesn't feel right for Rolls-Royce as a company, and this story here is a much more effective because it shows it creates a presence, it builds the product up. There's a bit of theatre involved. Yeah, but design companies do that already. Big design agencies do that. I think if I'm understanding you correctly.
Yes. But here, like but based on your perspective, that in that sense we are designing a tool to present a product.
But do you think that? Yeah, but I mean, I guess if I'm understanding you, that I think for large design agencies that deal with very big customers like Rolls-Royce or whoever it would be, they wouldn't have one tool. They would just say, what is the best way of presenting to these clients, or on behalf of these clients, to present some or to design some tool for them to go and sell to their clients. They would do that. They would do that all the time. You know, they would. You know, I think that's done quite a lot.
So, what do you mean by the?
Well, I mean, if I understand correctly, that you've given me the example of Rolls-Royce and Rolls-Royce needing to sell the experience of their product in a different way. Is that correct?
Yeah. This is like first layer.
Yeah.
But from our design approach, that we design experience for the salesman.
For the salesman, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, this is because this is the problem of the business to business.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, we need to take care about customers' experience and what they receive, this kind of input.
Yeah, but you're talking about business. You know, what tools do you put in? You know, for the salesman to go and talk to their clients, the business to business, and you're saying that they're selling an experience.
Yes. In this concept, they want to give the real experience to their customer, but draw one step back, that we are designing the experience for the salesman.
Yeah, I understand.
So we design the goals are for the salesman.
Yeah.
So when eventually, when this concept presented to the Rolls-Royce, they had this kind of concerns. This kind of like stuff is kind of a little bit toilish for their customers. They have this kind of concerns. So yes, they have in this context they have different layers. Okay. So yes.
So what's your question?
My question is maybe I put things simple that how this kind of experiential message can convey in a multiple design group. So in this case that we think that to derive experience goals from the personality could be an effective way to talk, because for salesmen they are satisfied with being cool. But on the other hand, when this concept present to the customer, they will think it's kind of toilish, or this kind of like decrease professionalism. So we don't comment on the concept itself, but
no, I understand. That's just a way of illustrating the idea.
Yeah. So my question is about how from a high level experience like go to a more design with the features.
Right.
So you said that like the movie or.
Yeah, I mean, if I understand, I understand the fact that you're saying that at the moment, in your example, and it's just an example, that the salesman likes B&Q. They like the power of being the person who's got the gadget that everybody wants, and but maybe that's not a fulfilling experience for the person who's receiving. Yeah, I get that.
But this like sounds this kind of personas or this kind of like experience goals works because it can like elicit customers' reflection on this concept. So from the perspective of design methods or design tool, that it works. So I would like to know more about what kind of like the way you conveying this kind of experiential message. It's like in workshop.
Oh, in the workshop, okay.
So, because not everyone has this kind of design mindset, that how to convey this kind of high level or very vague.
Well, for example, like I've got two examples I can think of. I worked with one financial company that they sold high value products to their customers. Normally they would create investment portfolios for quite rich clients, or they might sell pensions, or they might get a mortgage, or they sell financial products, but it's quite high value. Now they wanted to in that particular case they wanted to rebrand themselves, so relook at how their image, their brand was perceived by their customers, because their market was changing. They needed to, and they felt they needed to have a more compelling reason why somebody with £100,000 would trust them to invest their money. So I myself and a young design agency ran a workshop with these people who go out and sell these highly expensive products to their clients. And in terms of the tools that we found, the methods that we use, I think there were some that were more that worked better than others for helping them understand, appreciate their customers' perception of them. So for example, we did a lot of work with customer journey maps, and for them it was when they started to, and the point is that you're getting them to take control, you're getting them to develop these ideas. They looked at the brand touch points with their organisation, their company. So if somebody wanted to say, I want to invest £100,000, where can I go? Where can I go? They might, they might physically pass their office. They might see an advert on the internet. But whatever route they took, they would get to that point. Then perhaps make a telephone call. Then arrange for to meet somebody, and then information would be sent to them about the products that are available. Then they would get on a telephone call, and then maybe go back and visit their office, and then maybe sign up for their package, and so on. And there might be 12 touch points in this whole process. And if at any point in that very long chain over 6 weeks did they have a negative experience, the customer would walk away. So, and that was incredibly revealing for that company. That, oh my gosh, we've got to manage all our touch points really effectively, because it takes 12 touch points to sell a product. Can we shorten that cycle, or can we just make sure all of them are very good experiences? So that type of tool can work very well for getting customers to get clients to understand how they are perceived by their clients. Okay.
Yeah, but from design perspective, that the next step they want to like unify. How to say, unify the experience, like in line with the brand image.
They need to then, once we've identified the problems, then yes, we're looking at how we can rectify that.
But based on my understanding, that they need to like the every touch point to in line with brand image, of course, right?
Yeah, well, or brand experience. Yes.
Brand
experience. I think experience is better these days. Yes, I mean, and that can mean all sorts of things. That could be everything from the way they dress to the way they greet somebody on the phone, to how their website, to the language of their website, to I guess on a very basic level, their logo and the colours and so on. But there are various, brand opportunities there for redesign. So your question being, if that's a good example, what is the next question? What question do you want?
I just wonder that how this kind of like brand experience becomes a color, or becomes the
how does it turn from identifying the experience into a practical product?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I think when you're dealing with small companies, small businesses, then it comes down to what they can afford to do. It's not like dealing with Sony or IBM who've got so that if they want to invest in this big idea, then they'll just say, okay, we'll spend £250,000 on this. If it's a small business, then the reality of turning on from identifying that brand experience and what it should be is about identifying work that they can do together with that particular agency. So it might be this project could be £50,000, but they might only have £25,000. So it's a case of saying, how far on this journey can we get? What are the most important things that we need to get right? What are the things that aren't working? So it might be that, in a very basic level, it might be that, well, we need to rewrite all our brochures and rewrite our website, and that's a very practical thing, because those you would then move to saying, what are the touch points that people most use. And it might be, okay, the website is a possibility, but clearly it also might be that they need to think about a marketing campaign, or they need to invest in a new building, or to paint their building and make a really nice space for their clients to come. And so there isn't, so I think at that stage it isn't a formula. There are just things that we identify that would improve this experience. So I can't say that, that we would say it's got to be the website first and it's got to be the logo. It might it might be simply that they need to improve their telephone manner, and they need to just paint their office to make it look more respectable, and that might make a huge difference to the people already coming through there. So it's very hard to say. There's no formula for which one would come first. I mean, normally what would come first is if you are looking at redeveloping your identity, then you might start with visual communication aspects first, and then let that move out from there. So let that unfold across all the different touch points. But I don't have a clear answer with that one. Sometimes, it can be very different with the different clients. It might be with that idea. With that scenario that I've given you, that that's more what we've got. It's more of a diagnostic process where you're saying, okay, this is their experience. What is wrong with that process? So you're looking for problems to solve. So you're diagnosing a problem. You're saying that what their core product is good, but they just need to improve a few weak areas in their customer experience. Equally, it might be that if I'm dealing with a different company, their problem, their experience problem might be that actually they're in a very crowded marketplace. They're trying to sell the same product as a number of other companies in their area. So that at that point, you've got to differentiate. You've got to show they're different in some way. Now you can make differentiating through price, or through experience, or to even perhaps reposition their business to deal with a different set of customers, and that's different again. So I did some work with a firm of architects who wanted to change direction, and we spent a lot of time looking at their competitors to see. We knew their product was good, but were they competing in a very crowded area? And maybe they need to reposition themselves, and that becomes design has identified the problem, but a new business opportunity is the answer. So design can help that, but that's when you would work with a business strategist to help that, because the good thing about designers is we're very eclectic. We can pull in lots of different tools for analysing a problem or creating an opportunity, but sometimes we need other specialists involved, because we're talking about marketing, we're talking about business here. It's not just design. This isn't just a design problem. This is you're identifying a problem that crosses boundaries. There's lots of other subjects like marketing and business.
Yeah, yes, I'm just wondering that if one experience, like brand experience, that somehow it's not only like embodied by the visual stuff, but also, as you say, that like the telephone.
Yeah.
It's like the way not only unify what to look, but also the way to unify what's to do. So I'm just thinking about this kind of like you can say translation or this kind of like only design. I think the designers definitely has this kind of like taste or this kind of feelings to master this kind of things.
I mean, there will be common processes that people might go through, but I think. I don't know if it is as simple as one unify, if there is one answer. I don't know if there is one answer. I don't know if there's one way of doing it or one better way of doing it. I got a sense that we're using tools to identify problems. Now there might not be one solution to solve the problem. I don't know. There might be. My feeling is that designers really like neat solutions. We like to find one way of doing things, and the reason why we haven't solved the problem is because we haven't used this method or this theory, and it's very rarely like that in my experience. There might be, one you talk about unified theory, and that might have helped, but but I bet it won't be just your one theory that does it. It'll be a selection of things. It's a good goal to have, but I don't know if you will solve all those problems, because as I've identified, sometimes it's not about design. Design is not the solution. Sometimes it might be a new business proposition as well. So I think you're looking for the perfect design solution. It may work for some, but my experience is for those quite complex problems, you might need to have lots of different specialists.
Yes, I really appreciate your answer. But I really dig into that. How designers can contribute to this kind of translation.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, in our case, that we think that experience grow as a like short slogan or like this kind of short phrase can be easily conveyed in a multiple disciplinary group, and like something people can easily put into their head, and so this somehow helped to this process, the design process, driven by experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is always better than not without experience goal.
Completely, I agree with you. And helping a client understand it from an experience point of view is absolutely key in helping them find the solution. It's just whether design is the only solution. That's the thing. I mean, I've just worked on a small project. In fact, we're finishing it this week. And we are looking at a smart security system for homes, and I can't really give you so much detail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can talk about it, but I can't really tell you the actual design part of it. Isn't the really innovative part. Let's have a look. Maybe this may help explore this area. Okay. Let's just see if I've got an overview, because this is a really big project. I think I do have one that we can. Right, these slides here, they are just 3 or 4 slides from several presentations, so you don't see all the work.
No.
But so this was before. So the idea with this particular project was a business came to us and said, we want you to help us develop a product, a smart security product for people over 50 years old. And this goes in the house, and basically it's a series of cameras around the house that's controlled by your smartphone. Now, they have a very innovative business solution. The reason their innovation is in the business model, not the technology.
Mm.
So I can talk about this. But the tools that we used to help them explore who the product was for and what the experience of the end user would be was new to them, because they weren't used to. They were seeing design just as it's a logo, it's an interface, and we didn't look at it like that.
So you think that you need like to jump out of some kind of mindset constrained by this camera and mobile phone?
Yeah. I mean, I just put these pictures in because we did the usual competitor analysis. We looked at other products to see which were the best features to include, and of course they could understand that. I mean, competitor analysis is a usual tool that designers use, but it's part of market research. It's marketing.
Yes.
But again, that's a tool we've borrowed from marketing.
Yes.
And we've made it our own. We've done brand comparisons, so we do brand, looking at features, so there's lots of brand comparisons here and again, it's kind of marketing really. We use brand matrices to look at cost, and cost versus difficulty to install the product, and we were saying where are the suggested areas. But this is a business tool. It's not a design tool, it's a business tool. We did user research, we created storyboards, and we created personas to explore how someone might use a product. We did hardware research and looked at identified areas where we thought that they perhaps should look at the product design for their idea. We looked at software research and looked at what interface aesthetics would be appropriate. Now this is more HCI.
Yeah.
Okay. And we looked at the latest research guidelines on dealing with what people who are older. It's difficult, which is normal, which is kind of more literature and technology research. So we're pulling lots of research from different areas before we even get onto our design. So we looked at tech trends to see what was coming up in the next 2 years, because if you're going to develop a product now, when it gets released in 2 years' time, it's got to be...
Yeah, so it's kind of like the very market.
Yeah, so it's,
From that.
Absolutely. So we brought this back together to evaluate what we thought they should offer, and looked at different ideas. This is where the design comes in. How do you take all that research and create a product and a brand and an experience that the user wants? So we looked at various ideas. We also did service blueprints, which is borrowed from business again, where you look at the customer experience, the user experience, what support you need at the front end. This is a service blueprint to support this journey from hearing about the service to leaving the service.
Yes.
And all the back end and support. But we're identified as designers, we're pulling all this together, so it looks like as designers we understand all of this, and we do to a point. But the reality is, whilst as a designer we're using these tools to help a business explore the problem, the issue, or the opportunity that they're setting, the reality is I can't solve this support issue as a designer.
Yeah.
That's got to be a consultancy that specialises in logistics, but as a designer we can show it, we can say that could be a problem that you need to solve. So with something as complex as this, designing a whole product, yes, we can do visual research, that's fine, we can look at those, we can create storyboards, and this was to create an advert to, for a kind of Kickstarter. These are kind of familiar design tools, and then we showed them the actual product design that we actually created. But I guess what I'm saying is, design can be very seductive. You think, oh, you've got the answer to this problem, but all we're doing is helping them visualise the problem better.
Yes.
And some of the things we definitely can help them with.
No, we cannot solve all these things, and somehow that the so-called like new solutions actually is like redefine the problem or avoid the problem.
Yeah, or change we change context. But so I don't know if there's one single for me, and you're the expert because you're coming to me talking about this area. So your research is looking quite deeply into whether there is a common thread or a process that we can use to help people with this business, this experience to experience, user to user type idea.
Yeah, they come back to the first slide of your presentation, that this kind of this kind of texture, wooden texture, and this kind of round shape is all kind of like the experience, visual experience.
Oh yes, it's experience. Yeah.
So how this kind of it's from users, or is it like the designers' leaders, that the designers think that in the 2 years this would be some kind of new trend that can lead users.
It's difficult.
Aesthetic feelings.
It was difficult. Well, that's I mean, that comes when we're dealing with things like, say, for example, the wood effect here. Who's creating the desire? Is it the designer creating the desire for something with a wood effect, or has the as the consumer, as the user said, I really like wood, I want it to feel natural, therefore the designers go, okay, let's make a product that has a wood effect case around this camera. Is that what you're saying?
Or the user says that the product should give me a feeling of safe, feeling of security.
Yeah.
Then designers explore, then they think that it's kind of a wrong shape, or the colours would conveying.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of research for design, isn't it? That's when you sort of go and you do qualitative research with a user and find out what are their desires, what are their insecurities, and then you find this out and you then produce pieces of design and say, well, what do you think of this? And they go, oh, I really like that. So that's research for design.
Or this is totally like in shape from the designer's perspective. Or
the designer just goes, well, I'm not listening to them. You can go the Apple approach and go, and then that becomes, research through design. So you go, it might be a gentleman who says, I don't need to know what users tell me. I'm just going to create some beautiful objects because I'm a fantastic designer, and I'm going to show them, and they'll go, wow, I really like this pen. It's silver, it's amazing, and it's much better than this other wooden pen. And they go, okay, brilliant. Right, we'll make that.
Yeah, it's quite like design driven or user driven.
Yeah.
And but whatever which like ends driven, that how you like come up to the design results. That this is quite like so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in our case, that wasn't a problem. That we were just we weren't in this particular part of this product. We were just visualising the idea. In this particular case, the design work that we were doing was about selling the idea of the product. So that will be the next stage for us. What should this thing look like? Should it, that wasn't part of our design problem to solve at this moment. It might be in a few months' time. So our problem was to actually say, is there a product that would be valuable to this audience? What would it be? But we haven't actually designed the case for how it looks yet. That would be a different design.
Okay, so this is kind of like
speculative.
probe, or this kind of...
Well, it's not even so much probe. I mean, in theory, what we delivered to our client was, part of it was all this research to make sure they were in the right space, and we agreed. But we also, the pieces of design collateral that we created were an informational video that sold the idea of the product. It would be some branding. It would be a basic app design, just to get feedback on whether it would work or not. So it's proof of concept. That's what it was, proof of concept. But so, if that's successful, then we may be involved in making the actual product. But at that stage, I'm not really worried. If they can go somewhere else and get that done, that's not a problem.
So is still like a representation of an idea, and not so that
not the final one, no. So we've produced videos, we've produced branding, that's not important to us at this stage, because they're just trying to get investment for the idea.
So it's kind of like the design outputs instead of design outcome. It's more like that kind of boundary object for sharing the idea.
So for sharing the idea, yes. Yeah, that's what it's for. At this stage,
instead of results, but somehow it's kind of like the midterm results.
Yeah, it kind of looks real, but it's not really real. It's just for investment purposes. So that is one business talking to other business and other investment companies who said, they've got a really great idea, I've seen what we produced and it looks real, it looks like a really great idea. So we're just selling an idea at the moment, we're not selling the actual final product.
Okay, so this is kind of like format of...
it's just concept work, work, that's all it is. It's concept work, just scoping out the problem and giving some ideas of what the solution might be. So that's what we did. So.
Yeah, so it still serves as a tool.
It's a tool. The design is a tool in this case. It's not the product. Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is real. Sounds like a strategy. It's a strategy.
So there is a strategy that in for this particular client. That's what they required. Yeah, and they don't know what they want, but we can see the problem. And this is our method of reaching a successful conclusion for them. So there's design strategy, yes, there is, and there's a process that we've gone through in order to get them on that journey. So to take them on that journey. So yes, there's a process that we followed. But I'm just saying, in order to, and this is very, but in some ways, to be perfectly honest with you. When that client came to us at a university that do design, they were saying, "We've got this idea. What can you help us with this?"
Yeah.
And we said, "Okay, what we will do is this." So we knew what we were going to deliver before we started. We said, we will deliver you a proof of concept, we'll create you a video, we'll create you an app prototype, we'll do some branding, and that will get you to the stage that you need to go to your investors and get money for this. And so we already knew what the design outcome was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a complete open journey. We knew the destination, we knew what we had to get to. What was interesting was the journey we took to get to that destination, but even that was fairly mapped. We knew we knew what design methods we would put in place to get them to there. Okay, we didn't know what the actual animation or the logo or the product that we defined would be, but we knew that if we followed this process, we would get them to that end result. We would get them from A to B.
You know what is.
Yes, we knew what it was going to be. Yeah.
So you know what is B.
In this particular case, yeah, I mean, we knew what B was because we told them we were going to. We didn't say we were going to go to C. We didn't say pick any letter. We said we will go from A to B. This will be your B. We will give you these things. So yeah, it was quite defined in that respect. We knew what the outcome was going to be. Now, in some design, we don't know what the outcome's going to be necessarily.
Yeah. So, well, of course, this kind of like, as you just showed, this kind of very real feeling stuff has this kind of advantages to conveying idea. But this is for the custom side, for you to deliver an idea.
Yeah.
But during the process, because this picture is very like detailed, very concrete.
Yeah.
So, like previous these kind of scenarios, or this kind of storytelling, or this kind of more, how to say that, more vague or not so concrete, the design outputs. So, what's your opinion on how control? Yeah, there's also one risky could be that the designers can directly come to the picture level.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't something that we designed. No, that was the point, that we weren't going to go. And this, I haven't showed you what we finished designing. That's not our design. That's just a picture of somebody else's design. But it just helped visualise what we were trying to achieve. I think we didn't specify that to begin with that we would develop a 3D product and an app interface, or a video. Well, we did specify video. We didn't say what the product would feature. We didn't know what the features of the product would be. We didn't know. We didn't know that. We had no idea what the interface would look like before we started. That part of the problem we were told that from the business point of view is that they said, or based on their research, that more and more people are putting more and more cameras in their homes, and because we've got smartphones, that seems to be the easiest way to access that that video images, and so we need some way of accessing. We need to design the interface. We might want to know what would be quite a nice camera, but we're not really bothered. We need to define what the service is that sits behind the camera and the phone. So how does it work? Even what product, how would somebody pay for this service? Would they get the cameras for free? Would they just pay a monthly subscription? I don't know what the business model would be. They wanted us to help them work that out. So some things we knew before we knew that perhaps the best way to communicate whatever we produced was probably to create a video to explain it, because storytelling is a very powerful way of explaining quite complex ideas. And we knew we probably needed some branding as well. But more than that, we didn't know. So I think we knew what so what I'm saying is the outcomes. Yes, there was a video. Yes, there was some branding. Yes, there was an app. Because those were the tools they needed to go and present to somebody else. But what was in the video, what was on the app, or what the logo looked like, we didn't know at the time. That was part of our journey to define.
Okay, so this is kind of like the design agency's work.
Yes, exactly.
But what you did is kind of like the storyline of the video. So this is quite crucial. So maybe this is not kind of like.
I've got a few minutes. I can probably show you where it all linked together, and this might help you, and this might be what you're looking for. I have it. This is a This video is a 2-minute video that kind of tells the story of how the product works. Okay.
So it's kind of like the.
And what we did was we used the persona that we created very early on, and we used a scenario from very early on in the process. So everything that we used was relevant at the end. So in that sense, that when we created scenarios and personas, they weren't just useful. They were a way of testing to see whether we'd actually created something that these people would really want. So when we created a very early persona about somebody who was 50 or over 50, they became the character in our video. Let's have a look.
I'm George. I'm 68. Today there are more reasons than ever to look after my home. Recently, my neighbour's house was broken into while they were away. I realised I needed a new security solution to keep an eye on my property when I'm not at home. My daughter told me about a company called See It All. They deliver a complete home monitoring system aimed at people over 50. It's simple, easy, and affordable. And no matter where I am, enables me to keep an eye on my home using my smartphone. I went online to choose a plan that was cost-effective. No one-off payment,
That sounds
just
so
a
funny.
simple monthly subscription that catered for my budget and needs. A few days later, a see-it-all engineer
whole
came to
story.
install the cameras around the house and taught me how to use the smartphone app. It was great to know I could have my daughter as an additional user so she could check on the place too. Now that I'm a bit older, things aren't as easy as they used to be, and I struggle to read and navigate some smartphone apps. See-it-all's app strips out unnecessary features and includes clear navigation, making it easy for everyone to use. The app features motion detection and image recognition that actually improves over time. For example, I live on a busy road, so I don't want a notification every time a car drives past my front door camera, but I would like to know who keeps making a mess in my garden. See-it-all interprets what happens in captured footage by asking me questions, then works out how important it is and whether to notify me. So, more cats, fewer cars. One morning when I'd forgotten to take my smartphone with me, there was some activity at the front door. Thankfully, now my daughter is a secondary user, she received the notification. She has the option for two-way intercom. Play a pre-recorded message or contact emergency services. It was just the delivery man, so she was able to use the intercom button to ask him to leave the parcel round the back. See-it-all gives me complete peace of mind. And the cat doesn't seem to come over much anymore.
Wow.
So again, they could take that to an investor, and that's the Sorry.
So I think that peace of mind is like really powerful experience goal. I'm not sure that you...
Yeah, no, that was one of the things that I said absolutely at the very beginning, that it's all about peace of mind.
Okay, so you define it, or define it.
Well, the client did. It's all about peace of mind. So then, obviously, as designers want to please the client, that's what they want. So everything was directed towards making sure that message was quite clear at the end.
Yes, at least not some kind of features against this slogan or this keyword.
Exactly. Yeah. So in order to create that piece of work, that these were a set of tools that we created in order to get the client to, and some of those, it's about managing the client as well, because they'd be unfamiliar with those tools and they'll go, well, where's this going? Do we really need to do this? So it's about making sure they feel comfortable that you take them on the journey using these tools and make us then see the value in them, and that's how it works. Does that make sense?
Yes, it make quite make sense.
Okay.
Especially when I
see the video.
see the video. That wow, this is a really powerful tool.
Okay. But everything's linked. If we wouldn't be able to do the video without the personas, without the scenario, without understanding all the technology research and what was, because that video hints at technology that isn't quite available yet. Like we know about image recognition, but it's not really used in a commercial context at the moment. But that clearly shows it is, because we are looking at the future. 2 years, we say, well, there'll be lots of image recognition video in 2 years' time. So,
yeah.
I mean, we can see it now. We see Google Images and so on, and we see video. But also, we're starting to take a view that in 2 years' time that will be absolutely available.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time,
okay.
and I think it's time for let you go. And I think this is quite insightful.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it was useful
Conversation with you and.